I went from this...
Now, fast forwarding 2-3 years back to now.
To this.
And because of this, I had to pick up many part-time jobs along the way to supplement my dream.
And that's why in this video, I'm going to give you 5 simple exercises that will take you no more than 9 minutes to do each day. And if you can stick to these exercises, you'll be able to transform the sound of your voice into a much cleaner version of yourself. Because people don't judge you from how intelligent you are, people judge you on your ability to communicate that. And on February 14th, 2023, I was in the gym. I had my boxing gloves on, I had my shin pads on, I had my gum shield in. I was feeling slick, I was feeling smooth, everything felt normal. But the thing about normal is it can change in a split second. And then it came, the strike that changed everything, a head kick. Now, I've had black eyes before. I've broken my nose a few times, and if you can see my ears right here, yes, collie ears, they're not the best lookers. But this wasn't that sort of injury. Now, I got many symptoms, too many to list, but the main ones were a loss of vision, a loss of balance, constant headaches, but the one that cut through the deepest was my inability to communicate. And over the next few weeks, my voice got worse and worse and worse. But the worst thing about it all is I knew that. I knew I was mumbling. I knew I was messing up my words. But then because I was trying so hard to pronounce these words clearly, I would then lose my train of thought of what to say next, and then I would just freeze on the spot. So this kind of led me down a rabbit hole to find out why some people speak a lot cleaner and clearer than others. Now, your voice is shaped into many different elements, and there's 5 main stages. Stage number 1 is the conceptualization. Basically, this is where your brain sends a signal to your body to start speaking. There's a lot of science behind it, but that's the basic concept. Stage number 2, your diaphragm then pushes airflow up to your larynx. Your larynx is where your vocal folds are. Stage 3, your vocal folds start to vibrate, and this is what starts turning air into actual sounds. And then stage 4 is the resonance, where you place your voice. Because sometimes you might have a head voice, and sometimes you might have a normal voice, sometimes you might have a low voice, and sometimes you might get vocal fry. But that's not it, because if we stopped there and we didn't do any more stages, we would sound like this. Which is why we need one more stage, and that is where stage number 5 comes in. To create actual words, you need your articulators, your tongue, your teeth, your lips, your mouth, your soft palate, all work together to mold shapes within your mouth, which then creates words that we speak. That's how we communicate today. So with that being said, let's go through the first exercise. Now, this one's pretty simple. You're gonna chew. Most people speak like this and they don't really open in their mouth, but that is really hindering your ability to project volume without you even trying. The more space that you can create in your mouth and separate the bottom of your mouth with the top of your mouth, the easier it will be to project volume without you even trying. And just to pre-warn you with all these exercises, you're gonna look stupid, you're probably gonna sound stupid, but that is completely fine. And this is what it's gonna look like. Really over-exaggerate these movements here. But essentially, just how you go to the gym to get fitter or to get stronger, you are gonna do a mouth workout right here to get your articulator muscles stronger so they can be more efficient when it comes to speaking. Going on to the next exercise, and that is drill number 2. This one, it's for the same purpose. How drill number 1 was focusing on really opening your mouth, drill number 2 is all about your soft palate and raising that at the back, because people often lower that down when they get nervous, and that makes the gap smaller, so that it's harder to project your voice in a clear manner. And if you don't know what your soft palate is, if you put your thumb in your mouth and you put it all the way back, it'll go hard and then it'll fall into a soft bit. You know, like when someone punches your belly and you kind of eat the fist with your belly. It's the same thing with your soft palate. It kind of just eats your thumb. Well, with this drill, what we're gonna do is try and raise that up. What I want you to do is just yawn. Yawn first. And you see how that stretches the back of your mouth out? Now, yawn, but keep your mouth shut. And you'll feel this part on your chin go down. And you're really trying to separate the bottom with the top. So you're gonna yawn, hold it for 2 seconds, and back to normal. But whilst keeping your lips closed. Same again, with that drill, you're gonna do it for 1 minute. Going on to drill number 3. For drill number 3, you need a book. Oh, and talking about books, I'm gonna buy a new book. James Smith just sent me an email about the books that he's wrote before, and there's one called Not a Life Coach. I'm gonna buy that. But anyways, you're gonna get your book and you're just gonna read it. But whilst you're reading this book, I want you to really overpronounce every single word and really go over the top here. It'll look like this. Lobbed at you by your boss in a crowded Zoom meeting at a moment when you're more interested in your lunch tacos than the topic at hand. You're going to sound a little bit like a robot. But basically, this will just make sure you activate your articulating muscles and make sure they work overtime. Because in the first 3 years of my MMA career, I used to always get caught with a jab. And if you don't know what a jab is, it's the front hand, it's the lead hand. And people would often come over the top with a looping right hand and catch me. And the reason for that was because my shoulder was low, so my chin was high. And I knew I was making this mistake. And even though I tried to fix it in real time, because I was getting caught, it still wasn't really working. I was still getting caught over and getting hit in the chin. And the only thing that made the difference and fixed my technique and stopped me getting caught with that looping right hand was by over-exaggerating my jab on the bag, going nice and slow and making sure my shoulder was nice and tight to my chin. And I would do that until I no longer had to think about it. So when I came to sparring and I started doing it, it was now natural. It was second nature. It became the norm. And it's the same with your communication, which means if you stick to this drill by over-exaggerating these mouth movements, you'll be able to speak with more clarity. And the best part about it, you won't even have to think about it. And that's why for this drill, you're going to do that one for 5 minutes. So you got drill number 1, 1 minute. Drill number 2, 1 minute. Drill number 3, 5 minutes. Oh, and before I go on to the next drill number 4, I've created a poster for anyone who struggles to speak in front of groups of people. So if you get anxious when you have to speak in front of a crowd, or at work, in a meeting, in a boardroom, whatever it is, this poster includes my exposure framework that I created. And if you want your own personal copy, check out the first link in the description. It is totally free and I will send that over to you. That takes me on to drill number 4. And this one is all about your lips. And the whole point of this drill is to relax your lips so they can work more efficiently. Just like this. It's called lip trills. And if you're struggling to do this with your mouth, just get your fingers, put it on the side of your cheeks, and it'll push them together. That one's pretty easy, but if you want to level it up one more step, you can go high and low, like this. So you're changing the placement of your voice. And with that one, you're going to do it for 1 minute. And that takes me on to the last drill number 5. Now, if you're a male, a lesbian, or even just a freaky one, this might come in handy one day. But you're going to work on your tongue endurance. You are going to create circles with your tongue around your teeth, like this. But obviously my mouth's going to be shut. So if it's up. And by the way, with this exercise, yes, it's going to be achy. Yes, it's going to be painful, but you've just got to do it. I'm going to be straight up. Don't stop, don't quit, and feel the pain, and just do it anyway. Because you've only got to do it 30 seconds one way and 30 seconds the other way. And that is it. That is the full routine. There's 9 minutes per day. And once you implement this and start doing it consistently, you will start to see the change. Remember, if you get speaking anxiety and you want this poster and you want to get my exposure framework, check out the link below. That's completely free. Now, once you start doing these drills and seeing the results, you're probably going to want to improve the content of your message as well. Because it's all good having a clear and a crisp sound to your voice, but if you just ramble on, no one will give a shit, which is why you probably should watch this video. Anyway, adios, gym time, bosh.